maximize your shop's revenue this financial year with these 5 ideas. Hello, and welcome to the Flowery Folk podcast. I'm your host, Debra, and if your profit chart is looking a little flatter than you'd hoped at this point in the financial year, then stick around, because in the next 20 minutes or so, I want to break down five practical ways to increase revenue in your flower shop. So from small group workshops to signature product lines that can be shipped well beyond your postcode. Each idea is designed to fit a typical bricks and mortar flower shop and can be tested within a few months. Let's get straight into it. The first two tap into the growing experience or learn by doing culture. So despite revenue declines in many industries over the past 12 months or so, this area continues to grow year on year. So the first one I want to talk about is flower arranging workshops. Whether that be flower crowns, arrangements, designing for kids, for adults, having a health and wellness angle, whatever takes your fancy, workshops are a great little revenue earner, particularly if you can use your current shop or studio space, as that then minimizes any outlay that you have. Why I love these is not only does it bring in cash into your business, but it helps build community around your business. So participants get to see a little bit of that magic of floral arranging, but they also get to know you a little better. This few hours together guiding a group really strengthens your relationship with your clients. And if participants had a wonderful experience, they will be telling all of their friends, which will not only help for the next round of workshop bookings, but it will help in that they will recommend your business for all sorts of flowery things, birthdays, anniversaries, all of those things. So orders for flowers will obviously then feed on from this. Okay, be careful with pricing. So ensure that you work out the correct price. That obviously it has to include all the flowers, all the sundries used by the participants and yourself in the demonstration. But it also must cover your time to host the workshop, so that hour and a half or 2 hours that you're there doing that, but also your time to plan the workshop. It also needs to cover any incidentals like snacks or drinks if you're going to be supplying that sort of thing. How you work out your pricing is work out what is going to be the optimal number of participants that you can instruct, or, if you need someone else, figure out the number that you can do, or how many that you can fit in your shop. Calculate it out from there. I work out a recipe for my workshops just like I would any other order, and I calculate it out by the number of participants that would attend the workshop to get the final cost to me for running the workshop. Then obviously I calculate it out from there. I charge $145 per participant for my workshops, and they seem to sell really well. I'm in a small area in, up in far north Queensland, but participants still book at that sort of rate. So that gives you a bit of an idea. I do offer a small discount for 2 tickets or more, because I feel it's easier if one person buys 2, 3, 4 tickets than it is if they are just buying one at a time. So I want to encourage them to do that. A big tip though, if you are doing workshops, make sure you pre-package and allocate the items per participant, as some people get really, really excited and take way more product than you had allocated, and it can blow out your costs very, very quickly. So you need to manage this. Also, ensure that your current business insurance will cover you for hands-on workshops, especially if you're going to be conducting workshops with children. Also, with kids, ensure that the parents remain. You're not going to want to be a child-minding service. There are also other issues, obviously, if you're doing workshops with kids, blue cards, all of that sort of stuff. So if you make it that it's a fun thing to do together, have the parents or guardians there, it obviously helps cover all of that. Also, in your policies, have a very clear cancellation policy, i.e., when will they get a refund, if they get a refund, and what sort of time frame to cancel. Because I do from time to time get people cancel the day before when I have already bought the products, I've already allocated the catering, and obviously I lose money if I cancel them. In my workshops, I have it very clear that you cannot cancel or transfer your workshop. I think it's up to 2 weeks before, maybe it's a week. But make sure you think about what is going to be best for your business. It may take 1 or 2 workshops to get it all fully figured out and to get some great bookings, but persist and make it a regular thing, because I really, really think it is worth it. Not only is it fun interacting with people, but you're building that community, which is going to obviously help your business in the long run. And when other people are thinking of florists, they're going to be thinking of you. All right. Another thing tapping into our learn and do culture are DIY arrangement kits. What I'm describing here are signature products, nicely presented in shop branding, and all packaged it up beautifully. So think vases, snips, tape. You could even include dry flowers, or if you're in the right sort of area, possibly fresh flowers. Basically everything that a client will need to create a flower arrangement. It doesn't need to be overly costly to set up. Packaging and a few pretty stickers can be sort of whacked together relatively quickly. And the items that are in the kit can be what you use on the regular. So, your favorite snips, your favorite vessel, chicken wire, Kenzans, all of that sort of stuff that you purchase for your own shop from a wholesaler, you're now just packaging it up for your customer. You will need to give them some sort of clear instructions, and ideally a link to a sort of how-to video is going to make that package all come together so much more professionally. And why I love this, again, is that it adds on to the workshops, which I mentioned before, as it's really the ideal client who is probably going to buy or gift one of these kits are the people that are coming to those workshops. So these two work really, really well together. They are looking for an experience or to gift an experience to someone they love. It can also be posted. Again, this is excellent because it's increasing your reach, and you can get your product well beyond your normal delivery postcode. So it's increasing your customer base. So those people that maybe follow you on Instagram or friends or family that have heard of you can tap into part of your business, and they can arrange flowers using your kit, watching your video, and that sort of thing. Every solid report that I've seen says the learn by doing culture in Australia is set to keep climbing by well over 10% a year for the next couple of years, especially in creative or DIY. What does that translate for us florists? Workshops and take-home kits and other hands-on experiences have the wind in their back at the moment. So now is a perfect time to launch one. Get on board. All right, enough of that. Another idea that I think will help increase revenue in your shop are branded gift lines. Think signature candles, signature chocolates, or even ceramics. These are unique and only available in your shop. They can be sold predominantly as an add-on with the flower sales that you're doing. But again, these can be posted to people out of your local delivery area. For those people, again, that love what you do on Instagram and they just can't get to your store. Why are branded lines better than known brands? Because they are unique. Customers haven't seen them anywhere else. They don't know what the typical price point is. Plus, they are exclusive to your shop, and customers love exclusivity. It's really difficult to sell a box of, say, Cadbury's chocolates for $25 as an add-on sale. It's a commonplace and it's just not that special. However, if you offer your client a delicious assortment of handmade truffle chocolates, especially selected for Deb's Flower Shop, they will basically sell themselves. Yes, there is an element that can be a little bit tricky setting this all up. It will require some time and research. However, I really believe that this is worth it. Think about teaming up with other local makers, maybe ask them to create a candle or maybe a ceramic vase just for your shop. Find out what their minimum unit or minimum order value is and basically take it from there. With chocolates, reach out to possibly like your local gourmet food suppliers. Maybe you can purchase a particular chocolate in bulk and package it up yourself. Obviously, it needs to be wrapped for that. Or, reach out to an artisan maker and ask them if they would do a signature line for you. An add-on sale is so easy to get if you have the right product to offer your client at the right time. Chances are it will convert into a sale. On average, 1 in 5 clients will accept an offer for an add-on. So you need to offer them the right product. Okay, another area which I think you should consider to help boost your revenue are plant designs. Yes, the indoor plant boom has cooled a little since COVID, but it hasn't crashed. Sales have obviously come off those pandemic levels, but they still remain higher than what they did before COVID. So most analysts predict that this is still going to be a growth industry over the next few years. What they are seeing and saying within the industry is that curated plant designs and gift giving of plants is where the market is at its strongest. So, therefore, I want you to think much more than just popping a plant in a pot, but more along the lines of a curated little garden, something artistic, something that's handcrafted, kokedama, terrariums, kitchen herb gardens, that sort of thing. Think about where each design will work best. Is it going to be something that goes on the balcony next to the kitchen, or is it in front of the porch to welcome guests? You want to tell a story. You want to show an emotion. You want your design to capture the client and bring them into a little moment of joy. It's not just a pretty plant. This is also something that could be incorporated into an offering for corporates as a fortnightly or maybe even a monthly sort of basis, as these designs last much longer than cut flowers do. There can be a lot more appeal with this kind of client. You need to show your skills and you need to have an understanding of the plant and ensure that you are creating the correct environment for it to thrive. So maybe you will need to do a little bit more training if this isn't really something that you've done a lot of. But start thinking of it like you would create a design of cut flowers with single stems using, different plants, bring them together to arrange them into designs. Okay. Having a selection of plants designs in your store can also open up an entirely different customer base. Sometimes, I'm not saying all the times, depending on the design, but sometimes they can have a lower price point to entry to a similar sized cut flower design. It's longer lasting, so you have an answer to those clients who will just say, oh, the cut flower is only going to die. You have a potted plant that you can give them and they can have that for much longer. And it really just ties into what you already sell. And it is pretty much a skill that you already have, understanding how to design with cut flowers, now just design with potted plants. All right, give it a go. The last one I want to talk about, you might wonder why I've put it here, is weddings, but not just weddings, packaged weddings. This is elopement packages, ready-made bouquets, à-la-carte wedding designs, all of that sort of thing. What I'm hearing a lot these days is that traditional florists are becoming disillusioned with weddings. They think they take so much time, so much work, they aren't profitable, they are too stressful, and couples are just a pain in the butt. Well, what if you can still serve the wedding client, but streamline it to reduce all of the things that you don't like about offering weddings? Package them up and sell them online, just like you would create a gift of flowers for grandma. You will have a set price for them, and the client can basically just take it or leave it. Now, I do think that this probably really only works if you're a retail florist and that you have regular supplies of flowers all the time, and then you can absorb any leftover stems that are not used in the wedding bouquet, for instance. It can be used into your everyday florals, because if you have to purchase, say, 5 different bunches of flowers to create one bridal bouquet, you won't be making any money. It'll also only probably work well if you're in probably a larger customer base, because it is a little bit more niche. So probably someone in a larger center or somewhere where there's a lot of weddings taking place near you. From what I'm seeing in the US, this area is growing in the wedding floristry area, and it's really not hard to see why. If you do some research, apparently 90% of all wedding planning is happening online. So if you have a product online that they can see and they can click, then that's going to, really, I think, work well. It will take a bit to set up. I'm not going to lie here. You must have some really great examples of the designs on your website. You will need to be very clear with your client as to what they are getting, and also have very clear terms. Think of things like describing your bouquets as season's best florals created in our signature style. Don't get too specific. Keep it simple, and maybe even give them a choice of up to 3 different color palettes. Stick to key items: bridal bouquets, buttonholes, centerpieces, bud vases, maybe a couple of larger feature arrangements. Don't bother with vase hire. I would just factor this into the overall price and use that as a selling point within the overall design, because people like the idea that they could keep that, especially for those smaller weddings. There you go. That's a wrap. 5 revenue ideas that you should try to help boost your overall revenue this coming financial year. I would say pick one, set a simple target, and block out an hour or so this week and sketch out some logistics, because really momentum starts with one tiny little step. If you found today's podcast useful, please follow the show, and I'd love it if you could leave a quick rating, because that is how other people find out about our show. You could also recommend us to a friend. That would be great. Thank you. This is the Flowery Folk podcast. Thanks for listening, and here's to another great day. Bye.